What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another podcast, Big Sis Podcast. I'm Big Sis Val and
Big Sis Angie here.
In the house. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to conquer the war against yourself, right? And I'm sure anyone can agree that, sometimes we are our biggest obstacle. Sometimes we get in the way of ourselves in practically everything we do in life, decision making, new careers, everything. So I guess I kind of want to start off with the war against yourself that can really depict on your reality outcome, right? It can go, let's say maybe you're having a really bad day, maybe you're feeling really down about yourself and you're kind of just in this war against yourself, and everything you do later on that day will kind of have that bad taste in your mouth, because you're feeling such a way. Or the opposite, maybe you're feeling on top of your game, you're at your prime, your calls are going well, you're like, I'm invincible today. And everything you do after that, maybe you meet someone at the gas station, maybe they turn into a buyer lead, like, cause you're just so on it, what are your thoughts on that, Angie?
Yeah. When you brought up the whole war against yourself, I instantly started to think about, like, sometimes we create that war with ourselves due to outside influences. People outside of your nature tend to want to kind of help you assemble this like agreement with yourself, right? So you're at war because they're testing your value, your morals, whatever, so on and so forth. So you want to be able to identify what's important to you outside of those forces, outside of the influences that are happening in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of going off of a book that Angie and I we're reading. Basically, we have the power to create hell or heaven. In an instant, it's basically how we, how our thought process is and where we're coming from, where it's stemming from, how secure or, how, what's the word I'm trying to find, how like centered we are.
Yeah.
The word. So basically I have a few notes written down. I put, we don't need to be right or wrong in situations, because at the end of the day, who is a leader that's going to say, oh, you get 2 points because you were right today. Like, I know a lot of people are really attached to, being right or wrong, or just having less judgment in general in situations, or really putting yourself in their shoes, I know can go a long way in life.
I agree. And I also was thinking, like, we create these agreements, but we can also get out of them. These agreements that we have made with ourselves due to outside influences had the power to form an agreement. Now you have to create that same sort of power to get out of it. Because sometimes these agreements aren't necessarily healthy, or they're toxic, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like that's why we create these like inner mind battles in our head, and it gets in the way of us living our life and doing what we truly want to do. So what would be something you would probably give advice on that? Like, how would you face your inner battle?
Yeah, that's a really good question. How am I facing my inner battle? Well, first of all, I recognize it right off the bat. I think that's step one, is being aware of it, recognizing in situations, let's say you're, going through a situation with somebody and, you maybe say something, or maybe you didn't mean to say something, and you're like, I've been finding myself like catching myself and like taking a step back and being like, hey, where is this coming from? Is it coming from a fear that I just don't really have the confidence in? Is it coming from, somewhere where it really hurts me inside? Maybe it triggered something in my past. Where is this comment? Very general, but, where is this coming from? So I think first step is like being aware and acknowledging it. And then I guess, dissecting it, like, am I coming from a place of good, like, morals, good intentions, impeccable with my word, or am I just, kind of just being selfish and just like living my life without even considering what the other person is going through, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Kind of like basically how you treat others is how you treat yourself. So.
Yeah, we talked about this, like it's a reflection of yourself, the way you treat others. Yeah, that's true.
What about you? What's something you've been doing to like face your inner demons? I'm just kidding.
Well, that is, I think vocalizing them is good, because I was one that would suppress a lot of my thoughts, and I feel like it would be a buildup, and over time it would just be this nasty battle going on in my head that it would truly get in the way of my everyday activities. And I've learned just over time that I needed to voice what I was feeling, and voice really even if it doesn't make sense, like when it first comes out, because I feel like it sounds like gibberish or like word vomit. That's kind of how it's been going. Like I'll just talk, and then I'm like, oh, okay, then things start to kind of click. As long as everything, I guess what I'm trying to say is you got to express yourself, whether it be like vocalizing and writing it down, really like organizing your thoughts, because sometimes, whatever that inner battle you're facing, it could be very conflicting, because you might be telling yourself these like false stories or these lies, and that's not good either. You need to like say it, and then it'll help you put the pieces together.
I like that. I really like that. Sometimes it is better when you say things out loud and you hear it in your own voice, and you're like, okay, now that I said it, I'm not going to do that. Or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool, because I know it's like a hard thing to do. It's been a hard thing for me for the longest, and just as of lately, I've been actively practicing that, and it's been interesting for sure, to say the least.
Actively practicing what? Like
expressing, saying things that make zero sense to me in my head, and then when I say it out loud, I'm like, oh, okay, like I understand what's going on now.
Yeah, I like that. So basically, like, you're kind of reflecting or analyzing what you're saying, and like seems where it's stemming from.
Yeah, because I mean, when I look at thoughts, it's kind of like your storage closet, when I think we talked about this before, like you look at your closet and it's a hot mess, like that's going to be very overwhelming to you when you open that closet door. It may bring up some kind of emotion, or just like some kind of impulsive reaction to you, right? Because you're reacting. But if you open that closet door and your closet was totally organized, I mean, you wouldn't be reacting to anything, and your thoughts are kind of the same way.
I like that. So get your thoughts in order, basically. Get your ducks in a row before you can go and sit there and like judge other people and their situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Another really good point, before we close out here, is me and Angie are part of this book club, and we talked about today how we are all still children, and how we just lost our freedom along the way. And I've also heard this, over time as well, like, people, like the way we were raised, we were like, told, don't do that, don't sit like that, sit up straight, like, all these little, like, they were like molding us into like, the humans we are today. But like before, when we were kids, we didn't even think twice about what we really wanted to do. We were asked, are you sure you want to do that? And it kind of made us think like, am I sure? So I guess like, knowing this new knowledge, not new knowledge, but I guess hearing it again, we are just kids. And, if you're going through a harsh time, maybe you failed at something, treat yourself as if you would treat a kid. You would kind of be like, oh, it's okay, Jerry, next time, bud. Talk to yourself like that, instead of being like, oh, freaking Jerry, you always mess up. Like, here you go again. Like, I don't know, so instead of talking to yourself bad, just understand, could come from a place of like unconditional love and understanding. And I feel that everything you do after that will kind of just fall into place, and with ease, less resistance, less assumption,
Yes, because we don't assume here, right?
We don't assume here. We ask questions.
I love that, because it kind of brought me back to like our little meeting earlier. But like unconditional love, that is something people like fear love so much. It's kind of funny. Like, and I will say I'm that person too, or was that person. I almost felt like, I don't know where that stemmed from really, and it might have been from experiences in the past, but when you think about a time where you were in love, whether it be with like an object or a person, whatever you want to connect that to, remember those feelings of just like, nothing would be phasing you in the moment. Like, no matter what people said, no matter what people did, you did not care about anything but that love you had for that person or that item. Now imagine you can live your life like being in love with your life that same way.
I like that. Just getting me butterflies thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. Imagine if you were your biggest hero, your biggest best friend, your biggest fan, and you lived life like to the fullest because you didn't let any limitations or any kind of other people's opinions get you down. You're like, oh, I said, oh, okay, woo. Anyways, I'm gonna go ride a horse now, like, 'cause I love my life. I don't know,
Yeah, and you can even have love for those that have wronged you or the ones that aren't like benefiting your life. Like, you still have some kind of love for them because they gave you an experience, they gave you a lesson in life, and I think that ultimately that's the biggest appreciation that you can take away sometimes, even if it's not a healthy environment for you.
I like that. Really looking at the brighter side, and even if it's a crappy situation or it didn't work in your favor, and it was really just crappy, unfortunately. Really taking what the good you can extract that from that situation and just putting it into like a lesson in life. I really like that.
Yeah.
So deep today. I know. I'm like looking at the good in life. I'm like looking out the window right now. I'm like. But I mean, that's pretty much all I have on my plate today. I mean, do you have any final thoughts, Angie, on this topic?
No, I think we said everything that needed to be said today.
We did. Well said. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or want to reach out to us with any situations that you're going through, remember that this is a safe haven and it'll be completely anonymous if you want as well. You can reach out to us at bigsisquestion@gmail.com.
Ooh, nailed it in the end.
It only took like 30 episodes to nail it. But yeah, we got it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.